What is in vitro fertilization?
What is in vitro fertilization? Plants?
I have no idea.
No, what does it sound like?
That's what I thought it was. I don't know at all.
What is in vitro fertilization?
It's when you take the sperm out of the male animal and then you plug it into the female animal, right?
What in vitro fertilization? Oh, when you stick something in your vagina.
Rocket science.
What is in vitro fertilization?
It is making babies artificially.
What does it sound like? Like, what do you think it is? Anything?
Fertilizing something.
Like where they freeze an egg and then they put it in the girl's uterus and then girl's baby.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. Essentially, it's using life to save life, and there's a lot of controversy on the subject because people don't necessarily know when life begins, and people believe that it's not the will of God, so they don't approve of it. Mark knows, eh? Hey.
Didn't you do a project on that?
This is an orange background you like.
The word in vitro is Latin for in glass, which is the basis of this type of reproduction. Several human embryos are conceived in a petri dish containing a culture medium and are implanted into the woman's uterus with the hopes that one will attach and grow a fetus. If the woman is sterile and cannot carry a fetus in her womb, a surrogate mother is utilized. If the man is sterile, however, a sperm from an alternate male must be used in order to conceive. In vitro fertilization is beneficial because it gives sterile couples the opportunity to have a child of their own.
This infomercial is brought to you by the In Vitro Fertilization Clinic of Ontario. In vitro, the choice for you.
My eggs were too aggressive.
And my sperm wasn't strong enough, so we looked to in vitro fertilization.
And now I'm 3 months pregnant. Thanks in vitro.
I always wanted children, but I could never find the perfect mate. So I went to an in vitro clinic and adopted an unused embryo and implanted it in my uterus. Thanks, in vitro.
A lot of people think that guys can't get pregnant with in vitro, but I'm 3 months pregnant.
Due to technical difficulties, we were both born women.
But we still love each other.
Even though God doesn't accept us,
In vitro did.
and now I'm 3 months pregnant. Thanks in vitro!
Before I couldn't have kids. But now I got a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, 2 9-months-old, and I'm 3 months pregnant with triplets. Thanks, in vitro.
I was lonely. No one wanted to have a baby with me. So I looked into in vitro fertilization and found out that I could adopt an embryo. And now I have a friend.
All my loving I will send to you. All my loving, darling, I'll be true.
My parents couldn't conceive, so they turned to in vitro fertilization. And now look what they got! Yeah, thanks Mom and Dad, I love you. And P.S., they're 3 months pregnant with another in vitro baby. Woo!
Thanks in vitro for giving me the child of my dreams.
Thanks, in vitro.
Thanks in vitro.
Thanks in vitro. In vitro fertilization, the best option.
Brothers and sisters of our Father, in vitro fertilization is immoral, not only because it breaks the bond between the sanctity of husband and wife, but also because of the extra embryos that are killed. The extra embryos that are not used in the process are often killed off or tested on. Ultimately, in vitro fertilization is wrong because it imitates the act of God, and nobody else should be able to do that.
before learning about in vitro fertilization, I thought it was cool. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. I was like, it's just people who can't have babies having babies with the doctor. But then when I researched it and found out that they like make like 8 million embryos, well not really, but like they'll make like 5 or 6, and then they'll put like 4 in, and then they have 2 left, and they're like, what do I do with these 2? So they'll donate them. Some people will donate them to research, and they'll do like tests on them, and technically they're still a human being even though they're not inside someone, because someone's a human from conception and they are conceived just in a test tube. But now I don't think it's all that great, but I still think it's okay. Like, not the testing part, but the whole idea of helping people who can't have babies have babies.
Before researching in vitro, I was for it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought it was like great for people who can't have kids. They finally get a chance to have children, so I thought that was really good. But after researching, I realized that there are a lot of flaws in it, and I understand why the church is against it, because obviously they're terminating or testing against unborn like fetuses or embryos, and that's not good, clearly, because they're killing human life. And I think that if you're willing to try in vitro, you should be accepting of the fact that there is a possibility of multiple births, and you shouldn't terminate the babies, because that's obviously wrong. So if you're going to do it, then you should do it like that.
Before researching in vitro fertilization, I was on the fence about it. I didn't really know that much about it to make a decision, but after researching it and knowing everything about it, I think it's wrong. It's like too many of the fetuses will either like how they dispose of them is just wrong. It's like they freeze them, or they like burn them, or they just like let them die naturally. I think that if you can't have babies, that maybe you're meant to adopt, not in vitro fertilization. Ultimately, my brothers and sisters of God, you suck.